Just in advance of lunch, I'm going to invite Niamh O'Donnell and Gráinne Pollak to the stage to speak to us about research undertaken by Safe to Create, which is entitled AMPLIFY, a call for transformative action. And this is a pioneering study which sheds light on the lived experiences of disabled artists and art workers in Ireland. Niamh is the director of the Irish Theatre Institute and Gráinne is the project manager with Safe to Create. So they're going to give a very brief presentation, which will then be followed by a screening of Diversity Hire, which is a short spoken word performance by FELISPEAKS, and that was commissioned in response to the findings of the AMPLIFY study. So after that brief screening, I'll be back to tell you about the logistics for lunch. But Niamh and Gráinne, thank you for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Okay, so as it's been said, my name is Niamh O'Donnell. I'm the director of ITI. I am on the wrong side of middle-aged woman working in the arts, so I'm pretty much all dressed in black.
And my name is Gráinne Pollak. I'm the project manager for Safe to Create. I am a white woman in my 30s with short curly-ish hair, and I'm wearing a black top and a grey cardigan.
Okay, so Safe to Create is a Dignity at Work programme. It's managed by Irish Theatre Institute in partnership with the Arts Council, Screen Ireland, Minding Creative Minds, and this is done on behalf of the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts, Gaeltacht, Sport and Media, which I will refer to as the Department of Arts from now on. Its origins lie in the 2017 Speak Up, A Call for Change initiative, which addressed harmful behaviours following global revelations of abuses of power. It ultimately was Ireland's Me Too moment. In 2022, the programme rebranded as Safe to Create with a call for zero tolerance of harmful behaviour across the creative industries, focusing on system-wide change. And our aim is to impact the arts and creative sectors to ensure safer working conditions for all artists and sectoral workers. So to transform the sector, we're doing this by providing comprehensive resources such as training, toolkits and information, alongside ensuring compliance with the Safe to Create Code of Behaviour, with certification and implementation of that code as a special condition of funding. It's ultimately a funding requirement from key stakeholders. So our focus is on prevention and accountability. So while also offering essential supports for victims and survivors through Minding Creative Minds, who offer free counselling to artists and arts workers, and also legal advice for anyone who's had a difficult experience. Our ongoing work includes developing toolkits and delivering nationwide workshops, pushing for improving accountability and offering a wide range of training programmes, all supported by research to continuously improve workplace dignity and safety. Our work is based on research-driven improvements. We have a lead researcher, Dr. Ciara Murphy, and we also have a dedicated reporting tool called Inform to Transform. And as we develop resources and supports, we ensure we have ongoing promotion to build the profile.
So following the publication of the Speak Up, A Call for Change report in 2021, it became clear to us that the initial research didn't fully capture the experiences of certain communities in the arts and creative sectors, as alluded to by Emily earlier. So to address this, we began a whole new phase of qualitative and quantitative research 18 months ago, which focused specifically on disabled artists and arts workers, including those with intellectual disabilities, LGBTQI+ individuals, and those from minoritised racial or ethnic backgrounds. Recognising that the research team's lived experience didn't reflect the full diversity of these communities, we collaborated with 58 individuals and 16 organisations, including ADI, Blue Teapot and the Independent Living Movement of Ireland, so all the people you've just heard from. So this was to ensure that marginalised voices were centred throughout the process. Their input was critical in shaping the structure and the design of the research, making them collaborators and co-owners of the work. And we really believe that research of this kind must involve the communities it affects most deeply. This approach enabled us to ask the right questions and better capture the perspectives of marginalised artists and arts workers. We paid all artists and freelance arts workers for their time, fully aware of the emotional toil of sharing their stories. Their contributions significantly enriched the research, making it much more representative and meaningful. And during these discussions, interestingly, it became clear that the challenges faced by the ID community, the intellectually disabled community, were distinct, and Blue Teapot were particularly helpful in guiding us on this. And so this led to the creation of 4 separate surveys, one for ID artists, one for facilitators of ID arts practice, one for family members and guardians, and one for organisations working with ID artists. And the artist survey was provided in easy read format, along with a video guide featuring an ID artist explaining how to complete it. So in the end, the research involved 5 surveys with printed options available and 10 one-on-one interviews. All surveys were in the field for 10 weeks, allowing participants to take breaks and to return later. We also had a helpline and a video guide with captions and ISL interpretation available throughout that process. And this slower, more deliberate approach ensured a much more inclusive and thorough research process, we think making the findings all the stronger. So some key insights. Identity-based discrimination is pervasive in the arts sector, manifesting through various forms of exclusion, microaggressions, missed opportunities, and systemic barriers. Key insights revealed that 56% of disabled artists have been excluded from the workplace due to a lack of accommodations and ableist attitudes, while 63% report facing microaggressions. The impact extends beyond the workplace, with 79% of disabled artists feeling they have missed vital training or development opportunities due to their disability. For intellectually disabled artists, obstacles to professional growth are compounded by financial constraints and lack of access to resources, already alluded to, with 50% of their family members and facilitators confirming these barriers. Furthermore, 43% of disabled artists must limit their work to retain welfare supports, showcasing how systemic issues hinder their careers and opportunities. So all of this essentially bears out what we've just been hearing about. So this body of research highlights the critical need for structural reform to ensure inclusivity and equity in the creative sector. A substantial number of respondents report being overlooked or denied opportunities due to negative perceptions. Specifically, 74% of disabled respondents and 2/3 of facilitators working with ID artists highlighted that ID artists are often discouraged from engaging with certain practices under the guise of protecting them as vulnerable individuals. Another critical issue is the ineffectiveness of reporting structures. Many respondents, particularly 60% of disabled individuals, are afraid to speak out about workplace concerns due to fears of reputational harm. And finally, there is a widespread lack of understanding of the lived experiences of minoritized artists and arts workers. The burden of educating others and improving workplace conditions largely falls on the marginalised themselves. So, for instance, 69% of disabled respondents reported being responsible for raising awareness of disability-related challenges, and 59% noted a lack of understanding of their needs in the workplace. And this pattern is echoed among facilitators and family members of ID artists, who also perceive a lack of awareness and support within the arts sector.
So it's evident that as a sector we struggle to fully comprehend the deep-rooted impacts of exclusion and discrimination. And these issues aren't just isolated, but they're systemic across society. And most crucially, what we need to do is we need to start dismantling the entrenched systems of power that unequally distribute privilege and access. And it's also essential to understand that these challenges are upheld by the structures and policies within our own sector and within society. So we need to shift, we need to adapt, and we need to redesign these frameworks. So it's important to restate that all of this work has been collaborative. It's impossible to understate, like Emily, Pollak, Adrian, so many people in the room who fed into this. So the recommendations were also co-written. The individuals and the organisations' experiences and insights have shaped and are the very backbone of this effort. So we have 4 recommendations, and I'm not going to run through them in detail, but they are to mobilise leaders, build policies, processes and frameworks for real action, expand training and resource capacity, and champion a collective commitment to societal transformation. And we really encourage you to read the report. We have a hard copy, it's downloadable online. We have plain English and easy read versions, and we have the key recommendations on audio on our website. So we've already begun to deliver a range of training programs to individuals, venues and companies, and we're now embarking in the co-creation of an action plan. And I'm hoping that all of the people who've helped us so far aren't going, oh no, they're coming back. But we are. We're going to develop and implement everything collaboratively, reflecting our belief that true lasting change can only happen if we work together. So our focus must be on lifting the burden from those affected by these issues and moving beyond mere tokenism. And it's about embedding diverse perspectives into everyday operations rather than ticking boxes. And so while some changes may seem small, what's really needed is a really broad shift in our mindsets. And we want real transformation, which is going to require us stepping outside of our comfort zone. It is going to be difficult. AMPLIFY feels very much like a pivotal moment for the arts. Artists have shared that their challenges are not only deep-rooted, but are continuously evolving, making it crucial for legislation, policies and organisations to stay flexible, adaptive and responsive. And in the months ahead, we'll be convening a panel of experts to steer the first phase of the action plan, ensuring that we enter 2025 with a clear roadmap and with key partners on board and a collective drive towards meaningful change.
So we feel it's important to be clear that we fully recognise the valuable work already being done by many groups in this space. Our goal isn't to duplicate these efforts, but to support and amplify them. We're really genuinely eager to collaborate with anyone who's already engaged in this work or who wants to help drive change. We would love the opportunity to connect with you, whether today in person or via email. You can reach me at Gráinne@safetocreate.ie. Let's join forces to make an even bigger impact together.
And so, as mentioned, as part of the launch, we commissioned Nigerian, Irish, non-binary artist FELISPEAKS to respond to the findings of our research in her own unique and powerful way. Known for their work as a poet, playwright and performer, FELISPEAKS has gained recognition for amplifying voices, often overlooked, especially within the Black queer community. Their art speaks to personal and collective experiences, creating space for visibility and reflection, and we're really excited to share it with you today. And it is titled Diversity Higher. Thank you. Roll it there. I feel like I'm channeling Gay Bird. Roll it there.
A filled-in grey box, a tick-the-box thing, a red-penned, underlined, heavily marked thing, a check this out checked off the list, cleverly arranged and almost forgot. Oops, could have been missed, but not on our watch. No, you see, we've got you right here with the rest of us. Here. A limp glance around the room and your teeth is gapped and windowed for a them, space for expertise. A host of invisibles brought in with you, nestled neatly in your great grey box. Here, the best boxes are big boxes. A bin bag ballot-sized balloons of those thems are bravely born bound together. Here, a chicken chips curry with rice 4-in-1 flavor bursting box. Here, a tiptoe and a tap dance, a rhythm you've tic-tac-toe to on multiple occasions. And a welcoming has never been more tiring. The great grey box is tough and tight. Some of us are Spider-Manning around its edges, becoming neighborhood wonders, determined to show the rest how to cast their own webs around the system. Multicolored faces hissing thin white nervous lookalikes, sticky see-through sounds just like you to catch the right opportunities. Multiplying ourselves by hacking the game of box theory. The great grey box is shiny and invisible. Some of us don't have any camouflage units, hauled in loudly and Iron Man suited. The box has yellowed us for target practice. There's nothing as inconvenient as an amber light. A suggestion to slow down for someone else's safety, but the accidents are slow-rolling motors with no brakes. Intentional inches forward, the microaggressions are still a car crash. The great grey box is frayed and modern. Some of us are choking on our own birth flags, a necktie of explanations parroted off at a request, hung on each word being rainbow thick. Sometimes we want our own words dipped in blue ink too. Black quill can never go out of style, but a block of letters follow us like a last name, and we claim it like an inheritance. Still, we're waiting our turn on this dizzying merry-go-round. The great grey box is often empty.
Thank you very much to Niamh and Gráinne for their presentation and also for sharing that fabulous video with us. Really very, very interesting and powerful. So we very much look forward to seeing the recommendations you've set out in the AMPLIFY report being progressed.